deck bag pool building games.
Yep.
We're going to build some pools
Hope
in
it's
the backyard.
Olympic size, yeah.
Olympic size. Hey folks, welcome back to the Dice Tower. I'm Sam.
I'm JT.
And this is our bottom 5. This is basically our numbers 10 through 6 of our top 10. You can watch the top 5 over on the Flipside, which is where we usually do content. And you can do that right after you get done watching this one because I put them up at the same time. So just keep that in mind. This is our bottom 5, 10 through 6. How many bag building games did you actually consider for the list? Not deck building games.
I don't know. Two went on the list right away.
2.
So 2 bag builders on the list. The rest are deck builders.
Yeah. The thing I ran into is that most of the games that I've come into contact with in this category were deck builders. They weren't bag builders or pool builders. What is a pool building game, by the way?
I have no idea.
I don't either. That's the thing. I mean, are you building a pool of resources? What's the difference between pooling resources and managing resources?
I don't know. Maybe there's you don't get to see it, what you're pulling out of the pool type of thing. I don't know.
Maybe it's like communal pools that you have to build it cooperatively or something like that. Doesn't make sense,
It doesn't make sense either.
Nope.
That's
Doesn't make sense.
That's like the reverse of Galaxy Trucker.
My heaviest game on this list was a 3.05.
3.46. I have actually 3 of them that are 3.44, 3.45, and 3.46. So,
What was your average then? Mine was a 2.11.
283.
That's actually not too far apart.
283, and I had 2 that were just below 2.
So
Barely below 2.
barely below 2. So my lightest was a 1.69.
Mine's a 1.92. I got 2 of those.
I know what it is.
I got 2 of them.
I know what one of them is.
All right, fair.
All right. Well, that's that. We're going to go ahead and get to it. This is our bottom 5, the numbers 10 through 6 of our deck, bag, and pool building games. Let's hit it. My number 10 is a game that I have only played once. Only played it once, and that is why it's at my number 10. This guy taught it to me, and he used his copy of it just a couple days ago.
Oh.
Slay the Spire.
Right on.
Slay the Spire. This is not the heaviest game, although it is close to the heaviest game. This is the second heaviest game on my list. Now, I have to say I was intimidated by Slay the Spire. I was just intimidated by the sheer magnitude of things that are in that box. And my first brush with Slay the Spire was simply putting it away from the hot games room at Dice Tower East, and I was like, I don't know that I ever want to touch this thing with a 10-meter cattle prod. It is so much stuff in it. But after we played it, I'm like, oh, okay.
Not only that, after we played it, it's been a little while since I played it, but
Yeah.
like pulling out of the box now that I remember everything.
Yeah.
Like actually, Hawken and I played it right after we played it, you and I.
Yeah.
And we got to the second boss and died.
It sounded like that was going to happen, yeah.
And then we put that away. No, we didn't play with yours. We started over.
No.
Yeah.
The way Hawken was reacting to it,
Yeah.
I figured that was going to happen, yeah.
And then we put it away, and then today we got it back out again and set it back up. And it's pretty, when you know where everything is,
Yeah.
here's these 3 decks, here's that, it actually sets up pretty quick.
Really fast, yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's a good thing. The thing I like about this, it is a deck building game, but unlike other deck building games, you use a lot of your deck almost every single turn.
All the time, yep.
Almost every single turn. And it's not like where you have to use only 5 cards, and then you're going to discard those, and then you're going to draw 5 more, and then you discard those, and then you're going to draw 5 more, and then, doing that a few times, and now you're finally through your deck. Your deck is pretty small, at least from my one experience with it.
You build it up. But.
Yeah, you do build it up. But what I like about this is that you not only choose what cards can go into your deck, but you're also upgrading the cards that are in your deck at the same time. And that's what really made it a cool deck builder for me. Again, I've only played it once. I would absolutely be willing to play it more than that, and if I am able to, I would imagine it will rise on this list instead of just saying it number 10. But I've only played it once, but I wanted to mention it. Slay the Spire.
It's really cool deck builder. And your deck, every character has a completely separate deck.
Yep.
And all of your upgrade cards are different, and all of your the flavor of your cards are different. It's really cool.
Very cool. Very cool.
Right on. All right. Well, my number 10 is a light and fairly easy deck builder, but it's one that I love and that I've played for a long time and that I will continue to play for a long time, both in the app form and on the table, and that is Star Realms.
Yep.
Star Realms is a fairly simple deck builder where you're just playing against another person. You have a row of cards in between you. That's a market row. And you're buying those cards and you're using your damage to take out the other person's health until one of you dies. But it's very quick.
Yeah.
It's very cool. There's a lot of strategy to it. There's a lot of, I'm going for yellow cards and green cards this time, or I'm going for blue cards and green cards this time, or whatever else. And each of the types of cards that you get have kind of different flavor to them. You know, the blob cards are very damaging.
Yes.
The red cards are very damaging, but they also help you cool your deck. The yellow cards have a lot of special abilities on them, and the blue cards do a lot of healing and some special abilities. But you don't want a whole bunch of all of them. You want to, because when you are able to play the same factions cards together, they usually will give each other a bonus and kind of play off of them. So I really love Star Realms. It is my favorite of that central row, just combat type of game. So
that's a good game. It's a good game. Really, it's a 2-player game as well.
Yes, 100%.
It has the ability with other expansions to play with 4 players and stuff like that, but it's really, for me, it's just a 2-player game.
Yeah, it's very much a 2-player game.
Yeah.
Although there is one of the combat scenarios that's a cooperative that you can play with 4 players. I don't remember what it's called, but you have a creature in the middle, and basically it has like these tentacles of cards that come out, and you have to blow those up. That one's pretty fun.
Yeah.
That's the only one that I've ever played that I liked with more than 2 players.
Yep, that's cool. Understood. All right, my number 9 stole my thunder. Star Realms. It really is a great game. I fell in love with Star Realms after I got tired of Dominion. If that makes any sense. Makes a lot of sense to me. I was totally done with Dominion, the dry, vanilla, fantasy, medieval, whatever theme, and it didn't really matter what it was anyway, because all you were looking at most of the time was the numbers and words on the cards. Didn't matter. So I get from that and go into Star Realms, and the artwork is great. The theming is great. The different factions that you can kind of build your strategies around is really fun. After I've played Dice Throne, I'm like, oh wow, this is like Star Realms with dice. Not really, but that's the same kind of feel to me. If you like Dice Throne and you've ever wondered, I wonder what Dice Throne would be as a card game, that's probably what this would be. And again, instead of rolling dice, you've got deck building instead of dice rolling, and I get all that, but it really has that feel for me, 2-player, and I think that's one of the reasons why I like Dice Throne so much. The other reason why is I just like King of Tokyo and all of those kinds of dice chuckers. But I really do enjoy the back and forth that Star Realms gives you. Getting the bases out there so that you can kind of protect yourself. Your opponents have to hit your bases first before they attack your deck, and if you don't have any bases out there, they just always are like pounding on your deck. And the synergizing of the cards is what really kind of put it up on my list. I don't really play it that much anymore because there's a lot of 2-player games coming out right now, and a lot of games, we were talking about this the other day, a lot of games that are multiplayers play really well with 2 players now. So it's still a great game, though, and it's one of the best 2-player deck builders out there, in my opinion. So that's my number 9, Star Realms.
Right on. My number 9 is a game that doesn't get enough credit for what it does and what it is, It's from, and I'm only going to say this here because the next 2 games are from the same person. Oh, that's a spoiler. I'm sorry. This game is from Wolfgang Warsch and Schmidt Spiel, and this is the Taverns of Tiefenthal. The Taverns of Tiefenthal is a really cool game. You start out with a little tiny tavern. You have like 1 waitress and 1 bar back and, 1 guy brewing the beer, whatever else. And you are drafting these cards and trying to buy cards from the row, and then you do the whole, you're drawing from your deck, and whatever you draw from your deck, you have to put out in your tavern. So if you have extra bar backs or whatever else, you'll start putting those cards out. If you're going to be drawing tables, and you put the tables across the top, and then as you draw people, you're going to put them across on the tables. And that's how you get your money, is by putting tables down and people down. But if you ever draw a person and you don't have any tables left, your turn is over. That's as far as you can go. You're stuck. The rest of your deck you don't get to go into. So it has this very bag buildy type of thing going on, where you're trying to get enough tables, you're trying to get enough people, you're trying to cut out people that don't pay you, they don't give you very much money, to put better people on your tables. And you're trying to, a lot of them, like, you think the waitress herself, like, she helps you manipulate dice. There's also a dice drafting aspect to this. Once you get it all played out, you're going to put your dice out and activate different things. But this is a really cool game. I don't want to go too much into the overall, what it's like, because it's the next game on my list, unfortunately. So, but Taverns of Tiefenthal is a really, really cool game.
Cool. Very good.
Really cool game.
Very good. I think I don't recall having played this, so that might mean that I played it once, but
fair.
I don't remember. All right, my number 8 is a game that put bag building on the map for me. Pulling things out of a bag is not something that I recall fondly from many games. I could work really hard to pull 4 tokens out of a bag and get absolute butt kiss.
Okay.
Or bup kiss, sorry. And then JT comes along and works just as hard and pulls out everything that helps him. And what's the difference? Nothing. Just random token pulls. But in Quacks of Quedlinburg, you have your own bag. And you're building your own bag, and you know what's going in there, and you can regulate what's going in there and all of that kind of stuff. And so when you're pulling out of the bag, you know what's coming. If it doesn't come up now, it's going to come up later, and all of this kind of stuff. Same thing as with deck building. If you put it in your deck, you know it's there. You just got to wait for it to come back out. And sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But this is a really fun game that gets a lot of hate for being liked right now. I don't know that there's a lot of hate. I've just heard some hate of people. Like last time, I think it was at Dice Tower West, one of the people that were doing the Dice Tower Top 10 put it on their list of games that they don't understand why it gets so much love.
Oh.
And so I'm like, okay, well, whatever.
That person's wrong.
You're wrong. I really enjoy this game, and it's got a fun little, having to follow that track and the push your luck mechanism that's there. It really works well. I enjoy it a lot. I don't own it, so I'm not able to play it that often, but it is good. I know he owns it. So.
I own it.
So it's a great game. That's my number 8, The Quacks of Quedlinburg.
Nice. I own it with all the bells and whistles.
Yeah, I
as
know
it
you
should
do.
be. All right. My number 8 is from Wolfgang Warsch and Schmidt Spiel.
Wait a minute.
And it's a game called Quacks of Quedlinburg.
Oh!
Yeah. So Taverns of Tiefenthal is literally the card version of Quacks of Quedlinburg, but you have your own little bar that you're building out.
Yeah.
In the process, which is really cool. But in Quacks, like you said, you're putting in a whole bunch of different ingredients so you can make the best potion to get the most points. Everything you said is true. You have to always worry about pushing your luck, because if you ever pull out 7 of the white chips,
you're done.
You're 7
Your
or more
turn
than
is
7.
done. I think it. I don't.
7
recall.
is explode, or it explodes at 8. I don't remember right off the top of my head. But regardless, if you get too many of the white chips, you explode, And then that round, you don't get either your victory points for the round or you don't get to buy new chips, which is really painful either way. So I think the one thing that people say about quacks is if you get far behind in quacks, even though they have the rat tail, which helps you move your drop up, it's pretty hard to catch back up unless you catch a little luck. But that's what the game's all about, is luck.
It is.
So that's my number 8 as well, the Quacks of Quedlinburg.
Very cool. An absolute direct crossover.
So far, we're 2 out of 3.
2 out of 3?
Right?
That's true, because we Star Realms and Quacks, yeah.
Yep. All right. We'll keep up the trend.
Here we go. All right, my number 7. I don't even think you've played this game. You may have, but it was a while ago. This one is called Castlescape. Castlescape is a neat marriage of 2 mechanisms that I actually do really enjoy. The one is deck building, and that is the main part of the game. But the other half of the game is an area control mechanism where you are building a castle and you're trying to populate those different parts of the castle with your influencers, basically. And you're trying to score points on these different enclosures as you go throughout the game. There's inspections where they'll score you more points, and you might have to pull some people back if you're dealing too heavily in the corruption and the back alley bribes and all of that kind of stuff. You'll have to pull more people off than normal. But that resets at the end of every inspection, and then you can live a new life of clean business, all of that kind of stuff. Or you can just go right back into it. It's really fun. I hate to say this because I just talked bad about Dominion, but it really does play like Dominion as far as the deck building is concerned. You're using cards out of your deck to build walls, add recruits, and do other things, sometimes hurting your opponent, sometimes really helping you. But the other part that really kind of makes sure that this got put on the list is how that was paired with the area control mechanism on the board. The 2 together are absolutely fun. So that's Castlescape, my number 7.
Interesting. Yeah, I have played it.
I think only once, though.
Just once.
Yeah.
Yep. Sweet. All right. Well, my number 7 is another crossover.
Huh?
Crazy enough. It's not Castlescape, though. It is Slay the
Slay
Spire.
the Spire. Wow. Holy crap. Are we going to... We're going to go... No, we're not going to go 4 for 5. We're going to go 3 for 5 on this list? On this bottom half.
Yeah,
we're 3 for 5. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Anyway, Slay the Spire is really a great game. Like I said, I'm playing it. I played it with my 10-year-old 2 days ago, and now we started it up again because it's just a lot of fun. And it is really cool to see this game more than most deck builders. Not more than all, but more than most deck builders. Your deck really does take on a personality of its own.
It does.
You know when these cards are coming up. When this card and this card come up, I know exactly what I need to do. You know what I mean? You are building your character's abilities in a very substantial way, and it's really fun to do that. And you're also trying to cull out the beginner cards and things like that the best you can, which is not super easy to do. And then on top of that, while you're in a match against, or when you're in a battle against bad guys, depending on abilities they do to you, they can add confusions to your deck, or they can add fire to your deck, or different things to your deck. You can get curses in your deck, so the next time they roll through, you have to deal with whatever the effects are from those things. So it's really cool how that deck lives and dies.
You are correct.
Throughout that system. So that's my number 7, Slay the Spire. Fantastic game.
Yep. I like the thing about it is that I think what makes it so different than other kinds is that travel. You're traveling through that map. That makes it feel different to me.
Because it's a roguelike game.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, exactly. So it just, I don't know, it makes a lot more sense than other deck builders that are just deck builders.
Sure.
My last one for this list is no, I don't think it's going to be a crossover. It is the heaviest game on my list. It is the 3.05.
Oh.
It is a Stan Kordonski game, and it is called Resurgence. And this is actually a bag builder. This is not necessarily a deck builder. But see, here's my thing. I think the reason they throw all these three mechanisms together is because they're basically the same mechanism.
Sure.
Just with different components.
Sure. You're just randomly pulling it at a different way.
Instead of drawing from the top of the deck.
Yep.
So, but anyway, in Resurgence, you're building your bag of tokens, and those tokens represent the different people, survivors, that are in your colony that are going to be able to go out and procure new resources, or go fight these bad guys over in this area, or go do this thing that's needed to be done over in this area. And the whole idea is to build your compound up to a certain level and survive the apocalypse, basically, is what you're trying to do. But this bag building thing, it starts with you get a leader, and then I think you get 3 or 4 recruits that go in there, and they're all workers, but they each do different things, or they can go out and do different things. They can go to different areas that the areas are going to ask for those kinds of people. And so you're basically pulling these different workers from a bag, and the workers you pull out determine, at least in part, what you're going to be able to do that round. I really like that. I thought it was a neat little mechanism to throw into that apocalyptic setting of resource management and building up a little bit of city building or compound building, expanding into the rooms and all that kind of stuff. And added with that is that bag building mechanism of what workers are going to be at your disposal this turn. I really enjoyed it. So that's my number 6, Resurgence.
Right on, right on. My number 6 is the token game. What is it coming from? No, this is my token Garfield game. No, not really. This is the only Garfield game that I know of that really is a deck builder that I can think of anyways. In an actual deck builder sense. And this is Viscounts of the West Kingdom. In Viscounts of the West Kingdom, you start with a simple deck of cards, a simple deck of townsfolk, and they have different ability symbols on them. But throughout the game, you're going to collect more and more townsfolk with stronger abilities. And the cool way that Viscounts works is it has a little card row that starts in front of you, and so whatever person you play first, your first round, sits at the first of that card row, and they're going to give you whatever ability. Maybe they have 1 building symbol, or 2 merchant symbols, 2 trade symbols, and then you're going to be able to do whatever actions you can with the symbols you have available. And then the next round, they're going to slide to the middle, and another person's going to come out, and now you have both of their symbols to work with to figure out what kind of action you want to do. And they're going to continue to rotate through. So after you have 3 on there, when you place another one, the last one's going to come off, and so you're going to have this different set of symbols that's continually working. Not only that, but they always either have an instant effect when they're played, you might get something, or they might have an ongoing effect while they're on your board that you're getting something. You're getting an extra gold every time you trade or whatever else. Or they have an effect that when they come off your board at the end, something cool happens. Well, hopefully something cool happens. But, you are just traveling around a central board, and no matter what spot you are on that central board, whether you're building or whether you're sending people to the castle or writing manuscripts or buying stuff or whatever else, you always have the option to pick up a new person to go in your deck if you have the money to pay for them. You also have the option of taking that person and just paying them a one-time cost, and they'll go away, but to use their actions or their abilities while you're there, which is really cool. So you are constantly building up your deck, though, specializing your deck so that you're really good at whatever you want to do. There's quite a few games like that, obviously, but and there's multiple uses for these. The other thing is they all have a coin cost, and their coin cost is how far you get to move when you play them. So not only you're playing them for their ability, you're playing them for their speed, you're playing them for their their symbols, so their icons. So you're playing for a lot of different reasons. So,
cool.
Yep, that's my number 6, Viscounts of the West Kingdom.
Good pick. All right. Well, that's that. Our numbers 10 through 6, our bottom 5 deck, bag, or pool building games. That's it. You can go right over to the Flipside right now and watch our top 5. We've got it ready to go for you. Until then, give us a like and subscribe here. Let us know in the comments what you think, and we'll be glad to interact with you. We appreciate you being here. We'll see you guys and gals on the Flipside. Take care.
We'll see you later.